Hi, my name is Lewis Carroll, and today I'm going to bash some antiperspirants and deodorants. The problem with antiperspirants and deodorants is, once again, we are putting laboratory-produced chemicals into our body. You might not be eating it, and you shouldn't be eating it, but if you're putting it on your skin, it's got all day to soak through your skin into your body and disrupt your endocrine system. And in deodorants and antiperspirants, what we're talking about is a couple of things. For one thing, aluminum. If there's any form of aluminum in it, these aluminum compounds that they're using are designed to block a pore from secreting sweat onto the surface of your skin to help keep you cool. It forms a plug inside the pore, and this has been associated with breast cancer. Another thing that goes into these antiperspirants and deodorants is various forms of parabens. So if it says methylparaben or ethylparaben or propylparaben, butylparaben, if it says paraben anything, it's considered a xenoestrogen, and again, it's a hormone disruptor, it's an endocrine system disruptor, and it could lead to problems. So if you're fighting weight gain, you're fighting gynecomastia, or if you have estrogen-related issues, if you want to stay away from the possibility of getting cancer and you don't want to raise your risk of getting cancer, one of the things you can do is knock it off with the antiperspirants and deodorants, because there's other ways to go. Now you don't want to become antisocial and smell bad, but there's other ways to do it. You have to look at the label and make sure it doesn't have any form of aluminum or parabens in it, or just make your own. There's some recipes out there where you can take coconut oil and baking soda and a little bit of cornstarch and mix it together, and you can actually make your own anti-deodorant. And from what I hear, it works great, and it's also very natural, and it's not going to disrupt your endocrine system. And it's the same thing with sunscreens. Sunscreens and antiperspirants and anti-deodorants, I sort of lump all in the same category. What we're dealing with is laboratory-produced chemicals that mimic xenoestrogens that have been linked to cancer, and when you put them on your skin, it's got all day to soak through your skin, and that's a bad deal. I mean, you wouldn't eat that stuff, you wouldn't put an endocrine disruptor through your mouth. There's no reason to put it on your skin either. So these manufacturers have to get hip to what's healthy for people and what isn't, and people have to understand what's healthy for you and what isn't. Just because the FDA thought it was generally regarded as safe doesn't mean it's safe. You have to look back at how they tested it, what kind of information was available at the time this stuff came out. Were there cancer studies that were done at that time? Because it seems like once it makes it through that safety check, new information comes forth and nothing is done about it, maybe for years. So you're using something for years and years, and to this day, because of the links between parabens and these endocrine disruptors to cancer, you would think that maybe the FDA would outlaw it, but they still haven't. It's still legal. Many of the manufacturers are starting to wise up to it, and they understand that their customers aren't going to keep buying this stuff if it's a cancer-causing carcinogen. But and I know that sounds weird because we're talking about estrogen or xenoestrogens, but in fact, estrogen is considered a carcinogen if the levels get too high. It's particularly bad for men. Men and women both, but for men it's even worse. You don't want to let estrogen climb up too high. So best thing to do is stay away from these things. I mean, my rule of thumb is if I can't pronounce it, I'm not buying it, and I'm certainly not putting it on my skin.